I said that Naoya Inoue was the pound for pound best fighter in the world. And I said, irregardless of what happens in this fight, Naoya Inoue would still be the best pound for pound fighter in the world. The only thing I said that would change my mind of putting him at 2 instead of putting the winner of this fight at 1A and 1B with Naoya Inoue is if it was a domination just as dominant as we saw Inoue on Fulton. That's what I said was going to be my line of demarcation. And doggone it, this man actually did it. He actively did it. He did exactly what I needed him to do to show me that he is completely deserving of the sole #1 pound for pound spot. Terence Crawford is the best boxer in the world. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I'm happy to admit it. Because he did the only thing that I said he needed to do. The only thing that I said he had to do in order to justify me putting him over Naoya Inoue. And that was to dominate Spence as concisely and as completely as Inoue dominated Fulton. That was the only way. Whoever won that fight had to dominate in just as, if not in an even more dominant fashion than we saw Inoue completely nullify and exploit and just dominate Fulton. And Terence Crawford did just that. He did just that. There was nothing. The only gripe that you can say is that he lost round 1 potentially. Or every judge gave Spence at least 1 round. Outside of Inoue dominating and not getting around from any of the judges or any of the fans for the entirety of the fight. That's the only thing. In my opinion, it was round 1, which I believe a couple of the judges gave Spence. But outside of that, destruction. Systematically taking away everything that Spence was good at. Taking away the power of Spence. Quickly taking away the jab of Spence. Taking away any of Spence's flurries to the body. With Terence Crawford's simple but so effective defense that he chose to do in this fight by using a high guard that also was able to cover the body, a guard that looked like something out of Winky Wright's playbook, then taking away the inside of Spence by beating him to the punch, then taking away the outside by not allowing Spence to get away, and then taking away the overall presence and threat of what can come to you from Errol Spence and using it for his own good in Terence Bud Crawford. By becoming the aggressor, by being the one coming forward, by being the stalker instead of being stalked. Countering to the point that he took away Errol Spence's want to even throw the big straight left. Giving hesitancy to even throw the jab. Completely ripped off. This isn't a dissection like we saw from Inoue. This wasn't domination via dissection. Systematically and surgically taking away stuff. That was Inoue. That was incredible. This was an outright demolition. This was destruction by ripping off the arms, legs, and head of the opponent. Not slicing and dicing your way through. Mortal Kombat style, you grab their arm like Goro and you just rip asunder every limb all at once. That's what Terence Crawford did. He didn't use a knife, he used a bomb to blow up anything and everything that Spence wanted to do and bludgeoned him. Outright destroyed him in a beatdown that, again, like I said, we haven't seen in a mighty long time. I compared it to David Benavidez and Plant. At least Plant had some success before he eventually got broken down and got forced into a firefight with David Benavidez and got beat up. There wasn't any success from Spence outside of maybe round 1. It was just complete and utter devastation and domination. A wholehearted, complete boxing masterclass. It's insane. He's the best in the world. There is nobody There is nobody better than Terence Crawford. There's none. There isn't any. I think that Inoue is technically better in terms of his technique. And I love his technique. He's got the best technique in boxing. But Terence Crawford, is the best boxer in the world. There's nothing to say. He met the very high requirement that I needed for him to take that crown and be definitively number one. Definitively number one. It's been contended for so many years. So many years. He's number one. No Usyk's number one. No Fury's number one. No Inoue's number one. Gervonta Davis is the best boxer in the world. Devin Haney's the best pound for pound. These conversations kept going up. Is he or is he not? Yeah, he's the best. No, he isn't. Oh, somebody caught up. No, they didn't. Oh, somebody else caught up. No, they didn't. Somebody else caught up. It was like that for years. There's nothing else to say no more. There's nothing to say. He is the definitive pound for pound best boxer on the planet today. Nobody is as good as Terence Crawford. Nobody. Not even Inoue. And I love Inoue. I think Inoue can get there. Absolutely. But as of right now, no. There is nobody better than Terence Crawford. Because reason being, the difference between Fulton and Inoue and Spence and Usyk, or Spence and Crawford. Inoue and Fulton was a fight where Fulton was a fringe pound for pound contender. Again, we're all saying, I said, Fulton felt that he should be pound for pound. Some people have him in the pound for pound already, or had him in the pound for pound already before the Inoue fight. And we're saying that he was overlooked. People weren't giving him the credit that he deserved. If he won this, he's in the top 5. That's what people, that was the noise. That was the story around Fulton when he fought against Inoue. And that he was going to shut this hype job down in Inoue. Going to shut him down. And then when Inoue knocks him out and completely destroys him, now it's, oh shoot. Like I had said in my breakdown, Fulton's going to find out that there's levels to this pound for pound game that he is not ready for. That could very well be a reality that hits him in the face come this fight. That's what I said, and it boded true. But Errol Spence is a different story. Errol Spence was viewed as pound for pound, and Terence Crawford was viewed as pound for pound. These two were seen as the only two relevant competition for each other for 5 years. The only two that were actually good competition for each other. That's it. Because they had both cleaned out everybody. And to take somebody on this magnitude of a fight, who is your best opponent to date, and might be the best opponent that you face, period, in your career, who is also going to be seen as one of the best of this generation, and one of the great welterweights of history, in Errol Spence Jr. The guy who everybody was vaunting over because he gave Floyd a black eye in sparring. A guy that broke faces. A guy that was feared. A guy that was called the boogeyman of the division. A guy that ruled the division. A guy that had never moved up from the division. This wasn't a situation where it was catch weight or draining or too heavy, too light. None of that. He lived at welterweight. Lived there. Lived there. His domain. His yard. And Crawford was moving up to welterweight after being undisputed from the previous weight class. And he, in a fight that was again, legacy fight, generational fight, a fight to tell the story of boxing as a whole for the rest of time. A notch in history of this great sport that we love, that was going to help tell the timeline of the entirety of this sport. A fight vaunted as Hagler Hearns, Hearns Leonard, Duran Leonard, any of the greats. A fight that was going to define a generation. And he made it look easy. He made it look like Spence didn't belong. He's the best in the world. And there's nothing to say. There's nothing to say. I'm not flip-flopping. I'm not changing on a whim. I'm not a guy that's trying to just keep with trends or be say the same thing everybody else is saying. Just be a follower. I'm not saying that. This is a point-blank objective opinion. I go off of what I see. And I told y'all what needed to happen in order to change my mind on how either the winner of Spence or Crawford was going to be ranked in pound for pound on that performance. But Crawford did just that. Made Spence look human. People are now talking about Spence like he's over the hump. Again, retirement is what people are saying Spence needs to do. Like Stephen A. Smith. Taking a year off because of how bad this beating was. That's what people are saying about Errol Spence Jr. after this fight. When before this fight, they were saying that Spence is going to be the guy to prove his point that he is the boogeyman. He is the truth, and he's the best in the world. In a matter of 30 minutes, the whole perception of Errol Spence Jr. changed at the drop of a hat. At the drop of a hat. Again, he made him look like he didn't belong in the ring. Terence Crawford made Spence look like he didn't belong in the ring. Some people even said it got sad watching that fight because of how thoroughly Crawford was destroying Spence. How systematically Crawford was applying destruction in every single shot, beating Spence at his own game and beating Spence with Crawford's own game plan combined. I saw both facets. I saw him steal everything that Spence was good at and turn it into his own, on top of applying everything that he is good at to go in for the kill. Inside fighting and trading and jab, he took from Spence. Countering and instincts, he applied that from his own and beat him completely, outright, overmatched. People are now saying that he was drained. People are now saying, oh, everything's catching up to him. People are now using the car crash as a means to say, oh, he was never the same. Mind you, they weren't and shouldn't have been using that beforehand, leading up to this fight. 30 minutes changed everything. Every single thing at the drop of a hat changed the entire perspective. People are even saying now Spence's resume actually wasn't that all good. After this fight, people are saying Spence's record was actually never truly better than Terence Crawford. He never actually fought heavy hitters. People are legitimately, genuinely, throughout the internet, people are saying that. After this performance, there's nothing else to say. He's the best in the world. And there is nobody better. Definitively. Definitively, there is nobody better. This is, in fact, the Terence Crawford era. We are living in the Terence Crawford era. Canelo Alvarez is still the face of boxing because of popularity. But the best boxer in the world today is, without a doubt, pound for pound, Terence Crawford.